Good morning, Vixens. It's another No Makeup Monday, and today I want to talk to you about boundaries. So, everybody's talking about boundaries these days, and it's almost like they hype it up like it's going to be the most amazing thing, and you're going to feel so powerful, and your life is going to finally come together. And yes, that is the goal of boundaries, to no longer accept what is less than what you deserve, to teach people how to treat you, to protect your peace. We've heard all of these phrases, and they're all true. However, what a lot of people are not talking about is the in-between. And what I mean by the in-between is you're at the point where you know you need to put some boundaries in place because you're unhappy with maybe how people are treating you, or maybe you're being used, maybe you're being abused, ignored, not valued. Needed is different than valued, by the way. When other people need you, that doesn't necessarily mean they value you. And perhaps that's one of the distinctions you're making right now, and you're realizing, I think I need to put a boundary in place with this person or these people. So that's where you are probably. If you're watching this video, you're probably in that place where you're like, I need to change something. This is not working for me. I don't feel good. And then there's the place you want to be. And you can think forward to that place of where you want to be, where you can protect yourself from people who do not love you or value you or see your worth. And there are different kinds of boundaries. There are rigid boundaries, there are flexible boundaries, and there are soft boundaries. And I like to think of it as this old analogy that you may have heard, the castle. Okay, so we think of ourselves as a castle or a palace. And beyond the palace is this beautiful forest, okay? That's where all the people live, out in the forest. As you learn to trust people and vet them and let them earn your trust to be closer to you. By the way, that's something you can do. You don't have to give it all to everybody. You can vet people. Not everybody deserves every part of you, okay? You can vet people into more intimate spaces. So everyone lives out in the forest in their little, cottages or whatever. And as you get to know and trust people, you can bring them in closer to your castle. So maybe you're letting them play in your courtyard, okay? And so these are the people you keep in your courtyard. Maybe that's the people that you work with, or your acquaintances, your social gathering people, where they're not your most intimate friends, but they are people that you enjoy and you get energy and fun from hanging out with them, okay? So those are the people in your courtyard. And then a layer further in, perhaps you have a moat around your castle and there's a drawbridge, okay? And you got to earn that to cross the drawbridge, okay? Because you're worth it, by the way. You should value yourself that much to say, does this person really deserve to cross my moat? And beyond the moat, perhaps, is your garden, okay? And that's where you keep your more trusted friends. Maybe they are people that you share holiday gatherings with. Maybe they're people that you are in book clubs with, or something where you have a more intimate connection. And then beyond that, you let them in your castle. And then maybe they're in the parlor, or whatever you want to think of it, where they are the people that you really trust and can really call when, what hits the fan. Those are your intimate friends. And then you get even deeper, and maybe the heart of your castle, depending on what kind of person you are, is the boudoir or the kitchen, or whatever you want to think of as the heart of your home. And those are the people, those are your ride or dies. Those are your besties. Those are your maybe family. Maybe your family's out in the courtyard. All our family is a whole other video, but whoever you trust the most gets to go to the heart of your castle, where you can be your most intimate self with no protective layers and just know that they will have your back no matter what, okay? These are the different kinds of boundaries we have. Now, sometimes we have to have toxic people in our lives for whatever reason. Let's say you need a paycheck and you know your workplace is toxic, but right now it's all you've got until you get something better. So you've got to make the best of it. Or maybe you've decided to, even though you have some toxic family, you want to keep them somewhere in the picture. You don't want to go no contact, but you don't really quite know what to do with them yet. So those are your rigid boundaries, okay, that you have with maybe toxic or difficult people that have to be in your life for whatever reason. And that's fine. Then there's your flexible boundaries. And those are kind of in the middle, where people are still in the process of maybe earning your trust. You know that you enjoy them and you love them and you have a lot in common, and you're kind of vetting them and testing them out to make sure, like, is this going to be an intimate friend, or is this going to be a fun friend, for lack of a better word? And that's your flexible boundaries, and you can tighten and loosen them as you go. And that's allowed too, by the way. It doesn't have to be all or nothing. And then you have your soft boundaries. And the soft boundaries are reserved for only the people that have earned the most unprotected, vulnerable part of you, and version of you, I should say. That is a privilege to select someone to have soft boundaries with. That is a privilege, okay? That's not for everyone. And I think a lot of us have soft, good hearts, and we want to let everyone in, and we want to love everyone. And the truth about the boundaries is that not everyone deserves it. Not everyone will respect that boundary. And just because you love someone does not mean they will return that love. And that is a vetting process. And there might be some boo-boos along the way where you get hurt and you realize, I really like this person. They're fun to be with. They're funny. They're happy. They're positive. But whatever the case is, the reason why you can't let them in because they hurt your feelings or they don't get you quite. So that's the level of boundaries. And what I want to also address before I go is, I was thinking about that in-between space. When you first declare your boundaries and when you see that future point where you have it all worked out, everybody knows they're in the courtyard, they're in the forest, they're in the kitchen, wherever you've decided to put your loved ones, and everything's all fleshed out, there is an in-between that is very uncomfortable. And when you first set your boundaries in place, you may be thinking, where did everybody go? Like, I thought when I started respecting myself and treating my time and energy and love and talents with respect, that I would get that respect in return. Maybe not so. We have to prepare ourselves, okay? We have to prepare ourselves for the reality that some people don't like your boundaries. And those are exactly the people who need them. That's why they have that more rigid boundary, because they're very used to mistreating you, and they're very used to abusing you and using your talents and your intelligence for their gain. They're not reciprocating, maybe. That's exactly the kind of person who needs a rigid boundary. They're not going to like it. And that's okay. You let them not like it. You allow it. So I would say the first thing is prepare for this shift, because there may be a space where you suddenly feel a little lonely, confused, because there may be less humans in your life. So you might be grieving the loss of number of humans, quantity, but you have to have faith that if you allow this process to occur, that there will be higher quality on the other side of this boundary shift for you. It may be tectonic, meaning like I think of the Earth's plates rubbing against each other, causing earthquakes. That's tectonic plates, right? We remember that from geology class, okay? The shift may be tectonic, where you're like, what did I do? I ruined my life. I had all these friends. I was going to all these parties, and now suddenly I might be alone on a Friday night for the first time in years. Allow it, okay? It will be uncomfortable at first. And you have to know that your brain does not like discomfort. So it's going to try to tell you to go back to what you were doing because it wants to go back into its routine. But you're in charge, and you know you deserve better. And so you allow this shift to occur because you have faith that on the other side, there will be greater quality of friendship, greater quality of care and love and respect for you, which is the goal. Not everybody gets your most intimate parts and pieces. You deserve quality, not just quantity. And when you get to the other side, you may realize you're not really a fan of quantity. You'd rather have quality. So we have to prepare ourselves for this shift. And then the second part is we have to allow it. And that means sitting in it and letting it work its magic. Let the shift and change occur. And it may take days, weeks, months, we don't know, years, we don't know. It will not be miserable and uncomfortable forever, but I know it will be worth it because you are worth it.